Hey attackers, Mike here. Today I'm going to introduce you to some of my favorite co-op games, because who likes gaming alone? I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it. I love that all my friends have kids and PTA meetings and IRAs and other acronyms. I'm not lonely, you're lonely, which is why I made this list for you. You're welcome. On this list you'll find a mix of new and old games. Some of them very old. Why? Because the power of friendship never ages, and I am not rich. Also avoided most of the more obvious choices like Monster Hunter World and Destiny 2 and Fortnite, because either they're the best games of all time or they're literally the worst thing to ever happen to anything ever. Except for Monster Hunter, that's just good, everyone loves that game. So strap in, buckle up, and get ready for some hot takes. The Division got a bad rap when it first launched, because it was pretty bad. Every enemy was a boring meat shield. With all the grenade spam, you felt more like you were playing the floor as lava than an actual shooter. I felt like I held out longer than most, but eventually even I got sick of playing the same missions over and over again. But, to Massive's credit, they stuck with it and through sheer force of will, managed to create a game worthy of the Tom Clancy name. There's tons of different things to do now. You can go through randomized dungeons in the underground, battle against the cold and other players in survival, hunt down some high value targets with your friends. And yeah, I realize The Division 2 is just around the corner. So why am I wasting your time with this? Yeah, well, if Destiny 2 taught us anything, it's that sequels to these types of games pick up right where the last title left off. There is no chance the developers will forget all the lessons they learned the first time around. Nope, no chance at all. Magica is another game that's been out for a while and actually already has a sequel, but I haven't played it, so we're all stuck with this one. But that isn't that bad because this is a really cool game. I mean, you're this cute little wizard guy and you get to create and mix your spells on the fly. For example, you can freeze a group of enemies and then shatter them all with a few well-placed boulders. It gives you a lot of freedom in combat, and provides you with a platform to show off your mastery of the game's mechanics and core concepts. And that's exactly what you'll be doing, as long as you're playing alone. But if you're playing with friends, or at least with my friends, then you're just going to be mashing buttons as fast as you can to kill the biggest, sloppiest boulder you can muster. But hey, maybe we'll be able to work together and save the kingdom from the evil Jabberwocky or whatever. Maybe you'll never see the end of the game because you're friends with the entire time, electrifying, burning, and stoning. You know, good clean fun. There are just some things that go together, like peanut butter and jelly, Starsky and Hooch, growing older, and disillusionment. But parkour and zombies? Now that turned out to be a match made in heaven. I mean, in hindsight, it is pretty obvious, but I was skeptical at first. But the deeper I dug into Dying Light, the better it got. Its progression system made it feel as if there was always new areas to explore, new weapons to craft, and abilities to learn. As good as it is, the game is far from perfect though. There's a story, but I could not begin to tell you what it's about, besides zombies and, you know, parkouring on things. And you can't even play the last mission with your buddies and just, no thank you. I had to skip it on principle, and not because I was scared. Now, do I think Broforce is a great game? Not really. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. Basically, they took this,
you son of a bitch,
and then just turned it into a video game. I had to put it on this list because it felt like a love letter to my childhood and my adulthood. Maybe it's just a love letter to me. But yeah, I'm not saying it revolutionizes the genre or anything, but if you're not amused by Ronan the Barbarian, then we can't be friends. Sorry, but no. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a classic isometric style role-playing game. It's not the type of game you think would be co-op, since not only is it turn-based, but it has a story-rich experience. One where you're constantly making important decisions that affect combat, the plot, and everything in between. What is it like going through this game with a partner of 3? I have no idea. I couldn't get anyone to play with me. But what I do know is that this is one of the best role-playing games to come out in the last few years. And it is hard as balls. And a lot of these fights aren't just hard, but they feel downright unfair. Like fighting a dozen fire monsters in an oil field unfair, or splitting up your entire party and sticking your main character, who is a necromancer with no defenses to speak of, in a cave surrounded by 30 giant, murderous, mutated bugs unfair. But despite how often the game made me rage, or how many times I went, this is crazy, they can't actually expect me to do this, I still managed to pull through. More oftentimes than not, I didn't even feel proud of myself. I didn't feel like I was any better or I actually achieved something. I just felt really emotionally and mentally drained, and I just really want to share that with somebody, you know? Here at number 5 we have Factorio. Now, this may be a tough sell, but let me set the stage for you. This adventure takes place on a gorgeous, procedurally generated world, one that's rich in resources, vegetation, and intelligent life. It's literally paradise. But one day, corrupt and evil aliens arrive to pollute and strip mine the planet. These aliens are just the worst, like Captain Planet theme song bad. In response, the planet's inhabitants have to band together to defeat the invaders and save the world. Sounds pretty exciting, right? And basically the plot to Independence Day. But, plot twist, you're the aliens. And another plot twist, this game isn't that exciting at all. But it is satisfying. Like, so satisfying. So, basically you mine stuff, you build stuff, put stuff on conveyor belts to build stuff faster. I really like the conveyor belts. And yeah, you'll get attacked by aliens, but they're more of an annoyance than anything, especially once you get laser turrets. What really make you panic though is putting too much stress on your power grid and losing power, or not being able to pump enough oil to maintain a steady stream of plastic bars. And yeah, okay, like I said, tough sell. But you know what? I spent a night and a half building this wall around our settlement, and I could have sworn only 5 minutes passed. That's how good this game is. Path of Exile is an action RPG in the vein of Diablo. Think tons of baddies, hectic fights, and loot. So much loot. It actually reminds me of another game on this list because it's free, has a dedicated fan base, and just keeps getting better and better with time. Hint. And, you know, this game is legit. I mean, look at this skill tree. Look at it. I was going to film some actual combat gameplay, but I'd have to fill out this skill tree and I just don't have it in me. It's not even that I think I'll make a mistake because I know I will make a mistake. It's just, is it going to be bad? Like getting a BA in English bad, or even worse because I can't take that again. But panic attacks aside, it's a great game and well worth your time. Here's one of the most original games I've ever played, and I loved every second of it. Monaco is a stealth action game where you and a couple of buddies pull off a series of slick heists. Or, if you're like me and my friends, and you stumble your way through a bunch of clumsy panicked heists. Like Ocean's 11, but everyone is bad at their job, more interested in making fun of each other than making any actual money. There are different classes to choose from, which adds not only replayability, but something else to fight over about. Just be careful about who you pick though, because one of the characters, the redhead, is able to charm hostile NPCs by kissing them. It's a handy skill, and that can help you avoid detection, even access locked areas. But the downside is that there's a good chance your friends will spend the next 6 years cracking jokes about you making out with dogs. So yeah, not ideal. And that brings us to Vermintide 2, which follows in the proud line of the Left 4 Dead-esque team-based horde combat games. But instead of zombies, there are rats. Some of them are cute. Some of them are... no. There are also the Northern Rotbloods who have rotten blood, I guess. It look like they stink worse than the rats, which is impressive. Vermintide is everything you'd expect from the genre. High quality voice acting.
Holy Sigmar! Bless this ravaged body!
I'll never get tired of hearing that. Frantic, heart-pounding combat, and shenanigans. So many shenanigans. But it also adds something new because each character has 3 subclasses to master, which adds tons of depth to the game. Now, all of these classes created equal? Of course not. But if they were, what would we argue about? Politics? What are we, adults? It's a challenging game which provides you with a ton of different mechanics to master. Or you could just do what I do and play Wayfinder and shoot him. And surprise, surprise, at number 1 we have Warframe. I almost didn't want to include this game because it's such a no-brainer, but I am lazy. Besides, Warframe is just the perfect game for you and your friends to live out all of your space cyber ninja fantasies. You want crazy powers? Check. You want to cut dudes in half with 6 swords? Check. You want to pin a space Nazi to a wall with a bow and arrow? Check and check. You get all of this for the low, low price of no money. It's free. Despite launching all the way back in 2013, Warframe is still going strong. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it made this list for the next 5 years. And that's our list. Thanks for watching, guys, and let me know what you thought in the comments. Like, did I miss a game or 2? Or 10? I'll try to do better next time, but keep your expectations reasonable. Anyway, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be here next time. Just playing video games solo.